big Omni exclusive interview with you. How are you doing today?
Fantastic, and I'm so happy to be back.
So happy that you are back. Your vibes are amazing today because today we have a very special topic and it's all about love. Very exciting topic. Are you excited for it?
Yes, I am. I love to talk about love.
I know you do, especially as a therapist who's been doing it for many, many years. I'm sure a lot of people come to you with questions about love, how to find it, how to maintain it, also about heartbreak,
Healing.
Our last conversation, for anyone that hasn't seen it, please see it. It's amazing. We talked about crystals and healing chakras, starting off with tarot cards. So go ahead.
I love tarot cards, and there's two tarot cards in the deck that are indicative of love.
Oh, yeah.
We have major arcana, which is how things are in a reading, and we have the lovers. And the lovers are vibrating with the Gemini sign and the planet Mercury, which is communication. And when you're in a love relationship, there's nothing more important than communication. And the second card about partnerships and love is the minor arcana, which is the Two of Cups. And love consists, whether we like it or not, of empathy, compassion, forgiveness, happiness, joy, and inspiration. And when we're in a relationship, we have to have all those aspects flowing through the relationship, or the relationship won't go forward.
Yeah.
And the biggest part of that is forgiveness.
Let's talk a little bit about forgiveness.
Yes.
It comes up a lot in relationships.
When our partner hurts us,
Yeah.
we are feeling pain. The shield for pain is anger.
Yes.
And anger comes from the ego part of our chakras.
Mm-hmm. Right. You get tough.
You get tough.
Okay.
And we have to melt that reaction of anger so that we can show our pain. We can come through in our pain and show our partner, you hurt me.
It's showing our partner a lot of vulnerability.
Being vulnerable, which is a scary place to be in a relationship.
If someone can't be vulnerable with someone,
then the relationship can't go forward.
Okay.
And there are four aspects in a relationship that if they are present in the relationship is guaranteed to fail. And this has been studied. If you are condescending with your partner, critical,
Yes.
if you withdraw, or if you're defensive. And if you're being one or all four of those in a relationship, the relationship is guaranteed to fail. When somebody is critiquing you, then they're going after the vulnerable side of you.
Right. You said one of the pinnacle parts of it is communication.
That is probably the number one aspect of a healthy relationship.
Do you think that two people need to be able to communicate in the same way at the same level, or can two people communicate in different ways and find a middle ground?
I think over time, they have to find that middle ground. In the beginning, we have the stages of courting.
Yeah.
And it's when we meet somebody.
And everything's fabulous.
We
love everything about them.
We love everything about them.
Yes.
And then the honeymoon stage, because it's been measured, it lasts anywhere from 3 months to 18 months.
Okay.
And the longer that honeymoon stage lasts, the stronger you're building the foundation for when the real relationship begins. And that's the power struggles and the conflicts.
Right.
And that's when you start to step on the eggshells, when you're just like, okay, how do I communicate all these things that are happening in this relationship?
After the honeymoon phase is over,
the real relationship begins.
And that's what we're here to talk about, that real juicy stuff.
Yes.
Because any of us who's listening, and anyone, can have a fun, loving relationship with someone. But if we're listening to this talk, what we're looking for is deep, true love.
You have to have empathy and happiness and compassion and forgiveness with your partner. If you don't, where's the relationship going to go?
It sounds like you could be working on those things while you're single. You could be going to therapy or reading books, right?
Yes.
These are things that you can enrich and grow within yourselves, like forgiveness, compassion, empathy. Those are the things.
Yes.
So when you come to a partner or come to the table of true love, you're a complete person.
Hopefully.
and you're being attracted or drawn to your twin flame.
Oh, let's talk about twin flame.
Twin flame would go along with the theory in psychology of imago. And imago is the theory that we are attracted to people who are familiar to us from our childhood.
Okay.
And that can be good or bad.
And like you said, this isn't necessarily mean a bad thing because
No.
they're helping trigger you and heal you
In the Earth School.
in the Earth School.
When we hear the word twin flame and soulmate,
Right.
we think, oh, that's going to be so perfect and so wonderful. And it's
It's a
not,
lot of work.
because your twin flame and your soulmate are here to teach you
Okay.
your biggest lessons.
Do you have any advice for someone that is experiencing heartbreak?
I tell everybody the worst thing you can do in heartbreak is get involved with another person. It takes a year, right around 12 months, to get over a heartbreak.
So the best thing is just to be alone for at least a year between partners, and especially a significant heartbreak, maybe a little bit longer.
That's what you need to start working on.
Beautiful.
And invest in yourself for at least 12 months.
Okay.
And as you start putting yourself in situations, you're going to start meeting new people,
Yes.
and you'll really connect to your tribe.
Yeah, to your tribe, your vibe.
To your vibe? Absolutely.
And within that, you're going to meet that
Wonderful
beloved.
people. Yes.
And since we're talking about love today, the most important love is love of self.
Oh.
Unconditional positive regard for self.
Yeah.
And in that year, if you can say, okay, self, I'm going to get to know you.
I love that recommendation.
I'm going to take myself to yoga. I'm going to take myself to workshops. I'm going to take myself on road trips.
Yeah.
Great place to start. Meditation.
Yes, meditation. On the journey to self-love, meditation way up there because
Yes.
it puts you in, but also out at the same time.
And be comfortable with my solitude, so that on Thursday night, when I look at my appointment book and I don't have any plans for the weekend, I don't freak out. What usually leads people on a self-love commitment journey is they become more spiritual.
Yes.
And while you're becoming more spiritual, you start to discover different paths that lead to God.
We should all enter new relationships with a wholehearted love of ourselves.
Because if you enter a relationship with a fourth of who you are, because 3/4 of you is heartbroken and pretending that you're not, that's not fair to the new person.
Not really. No.
So hopefully you're entering into a relationship with somebody who is giving you 110% of who they are, and you're giving them 110%. And that's a whole, perfect, healthy person.
That's like a twin flame connection.
Yes.
Yes. And if you are only providing a quarter of yourself, do you feel like the person can only love a quarter of yourself? Because that's what you're presenting. Like they don't know what else you have.
But they will eventually find out,
Right.
because you will eventually, all of you will emerge.
Yes.
And maybe that part you didn't heal isn't so pretty.
It is important to take that time between breakups. Do you think most people take that time, or do you think most people just jump? What have you seen? Most people just jump into a relationship?
Well,
What
I've
is-
been in a relationship for 20 years, and
Yeah.
I've also been a therapist for over 20 years.
Yes.
And so technology, and I'm low tech, I'm old tech. So I've watched in my 20 years as a therapist and being in a relationship with my beloved,
Yeah.
technology has taken off. So many people,
So
they
many
get their heart broken and they go right onto these dating
online dating
websites.
sites.
Yes, and they're seeking, they want to be in a relationship
Yes.
without healing.
Do most people stay with people that trigger them, or do they move on to find someone that doesn't?
I think that people, when they are in a very toxic relationship,
Yeah.
because they become addicted to that way, that synergy, the way that that relationship works. And so when they leave that relationship, it's like a heroin addict getting off of heroin. They go through withdrawals.
It sounds very difficult.
That's why when people are in heartbreak,
Yes.
they're actually going through a detox process. Not only is it physically painful, but they miss that person. And they'll describe just like what a drug addict is describing when they're going through their detox of missing the drug of their choice.
Do you think that they're exhibiting some kind of an addiction to love?
I believe that they have love addiction.
Talk a
Yes.
little bit more about that. That's interesting.
Well, there was this incredible book written, Facing Love Addiction, by Pia Mellody. And she wrote this great book about, we have people who are love avoidants and we have people who are love addicts. People that are love addicts, they can't bear to be alone. And they go through withdrawals like a drug addict would, where they have to get back in a relationship. And what the internet does is it feeds that in a negative, dysfunctional way.
The online dating
The online dating.
specifically feeds it in a negative way.
When we are in a rush to get in a
Yes.
relationship, when we are in a rush to meet that person, the person of our dreams who's going to make every dream come true, that's a fantasy. That's not reality. That's not what relationships really are.
The opposite of that you brought up was the avoidant love.
Love avoidance, what their characteristics are, they will find somebody, prey upon them with love bombing. If you show any kind of attention back, because they like the chase, they like the hunt, they like to
Right.
be the predator, they want their prey
Mhm.
to almost ignore them. But
Okay.
when that person turns around and says, oh, wait a minute, you've been trying to get my attention, then they're gone.
So let's talk about love bombing. What is love bombing? What does it look like?
If somebody is texting you more than 3 or 4 times a day, you might want to look into that and see
Yeah.
where that's coming from.
Okay. Gifts get involved in this
Gifts
love
get
bombing
involved.
process?
Taking you places, taking you for a weekend away.
They're committing to you in a very big way, and you haven't really even got to know each other very well.
And they're giving you a lot of information.
Okay.
And usually what they're saying to you isn't based on truth.
So if we were to meet somebody and we have a feeling they might be an addict, a love addict or a love avoidant, what are the telltale signs so that we can validate that yeah, this person may not be at the year mark, at the healed mark, like me?
You just want to pay attention to the red flags.
Okay.
First of all, are they gainfully employed? I think gainful employment is
Yeah.
really important.
Wow, number one.
You want to make sure,
Yeah.
that they are who they say they are.
Right.
But you want to observe them when you are with them and
Yes.
there is a stressful event that occurs.
You're at a restaurant with someone and they order food and it takes a long time.
Do they just get angry and throw a big huff and then just say, oh, it's fine, I'm over it? No, you want to work through it. Hey, what
Mhm.
happened? Where did you go? What was that about? Were you being impatient? You want to kind of explore this person's psychology.
Yes, and where they're coming from, what their orientation is. So red flags. What's another one that people should be looking for?
They're calling you, if they're texting you, if they're blowing up your phone in any way,
Yeah.
that's not normal.
Sounds like just slowing things down a little bit can reveal a lot of red flags.
Or when somebody becomes a chameleon and starts to impersonate you or, make their life look more like yours, that's a big warning.
Big red flag.
Important to look at family relationships.
Let's talk about that a little bit.
If you're meeting somebody and you're having intimacy in that honeymoon phase and you're really open, that's when people are really vulnerable and do want to talk. If they don't want to talk or you feel like they're hiding something, that's a red flag.
Okay. So normally people want to express their childhood at some point in the
Yes.
beginning of a relationship.
Good or bad.
Good or bad. But if they're not, that could be a red flag.
What are they hiding? If they're hiding something, is it trauma?
Yes.
And have they not worked through that trauma?
Yeah.
And that trauma that is unresolved is going to come back into the relationship to bite the relationship in the ass.
You're so committed to seeing that
Yes.
through that you're
Yes.
willing to put your own safety, self, and love on the line.
Yes.
Both the avoidant and the addict can be very painful to someone who is, what is the middle bonder there? What is someone who is bonding not in an addict way or an avoidant way?
That's when the people who are healthy
Yes.
are coming together and slowly getting to know
other.
the person
Right.
and getting to know their likes, their dislikes, their political climate,
Yeah.
what
Everything.
every
Everything you need to know about somebody.
but you get to know that in time. It
Right.
doesn't have to happen in 48 hours.
Addicts and avoidants end up maybe intentionally or unintentionally hurting people.
When I've worked with love addicts and love avoidants.
Yes.
Love addicts are the people that become the stalkers.
Yes.
They become vindictive and they want to get even.
Yeah.
The love avoidant, they just cut you off and they're on to the next person.
Oh gosh.
I always call it the lily pad leap. When somebody is with somebody and they want to end this relationship, but they don't want to end it till they've got somebody locked in.
So if someone's listening to this and they say, wow, I'm identifying with being a love avoidant, is your recommendation also to mark off their calendars?
If somebody is a love addict or a love avoidant, that means that they don't want to be in relationship with self. And you have to ask yourself why.
Right.
You have to have positive regard for self.
Beautiful. So you have this great piece of paper and you're going to draw us a picture.
This is a picture of what a perfect relationship looks like. I use circles. This is a perfect relationship. You have a perfect overlapping of both circles, but each person has complete full lives outside of the circles. We were talking about love avoidant behavior. This is love avoidant behavior. When people come together, but they get scared, or this feels really uncomfortable for them when their two circles gently overlap. And so they have a hard time having this happen.
Right, and the two circles are separate for the avoidant.
It makes them very uncomfortable to have this. They're more comfortable when they're separate. And this is what we call enmeshment or relationship hell.
A relationship hell.
Yes.
It looks like almost one circle.
It's one circle. And what happens in a very healthy, happy relationship, you want to have an open family system. So in a relationship, new ideas can come in, old ideas can leave, new people can come in, old people can leave. There's a constant flow that happens in a healthy relationship. But in enmeshment, nobody new can come in and nobody old can leave. No new ideas can come in and no old ideas can leave. And it becomes
Toxic
a
looking.
very toxic space. And this circle implodes on itself eventually. And you'll
Like a
see
black
this in
hole.
families.
Okay.
Yes. So our goal is to have healthy relationships where we have full lives because we have unconditional positive regard for self. And when we are with our beloved, we have this gentle overlapping that doesn't increase on each other's space. And we want to avoid the avoidance because they're not going to do us any favors, because the minute they have something that feels good, it scares them and they bounce back to being avoidant.
Right.
And we absolutely don't want to become involved in
it-
enmeshment.
No, that looks very scary.
Yes,
Thank you for the drawing. Thank you.
art is not my forte.
It was perfect. You've got two circles overlapping. That's a perfect relationship. You've got separate lives, and yet you've got this very close, compassionate center.
And that's your goal.
And that's your goal.
That's your
what we're all
goal
working
is-
toward.
Am I going to encroach on my partner
Right.
and our gentle overlapping? If I continue in this behavior, I need to pull back a little bit, but I don't want to pull back where we're completely separate.
It's just this perfect force within a relationship, the sweet spot that you're trying to find.
Constantly.
Yes, the
It sounds-
sweet spot.
Yeah.
Trying to find that over and over again every single day.
Every situation.
Every situation.
Find your center.
Yes.
Takes a lot of work. The work in a relationship, in a love relationship, never ends. They have to go to a really good couples counselor if they have a lot of history of being in relationships that just don't move forward.
Yes.
But they're ready for that change, and they're ready to say, okay, I know I have a big part in this and I need to get healthy. And I want to catch up with my partner. I want my partner to catch up with me so we can be on the same page.
Right.
That's when you go into couples therapy.
Right.
Well, I'm sure a lot of people are really happy to hear that if they are in a current relationship and they do feel like there's a lot of love there, and compassion, empathy, there is a way to elevate it.
And you have to remember, every saint has a past and every sinner has a future.
Well
You have to keep
said.
that in mind.
Very well said. Is there anything else that you'd love to tell our cosmic audience before we part ways about the big subject?
What do you want to know?
Oh gosh, so many things I want to know about love. I think the biggest thing that people have, or myself, about love is, how do you trust that things are going to get better for you in love? How do you trust after that year of hard work, focusing on yourself, the hope that you are going to meet somebody wonderful?
And you roll the dice, you're all in.
Yeah.
And
That's
you're
it.
going to
This is
trust
the
them.
person.
And you're going to believe in what they tell you is the truth. Because at some point you have to trust somebody. And that's how you want your love to grow. is that when you lay awake at night and that partner is asleep next to you and you just think, I am so blessed. I am so lucky. I love you so much. I trust everything about you. That takes time to get to that point. Because that's a beautiful, beautiful place to be. That's a
Yeah.
very vulnerable place to be.
That was the most beautiful closing I've ever heard. I'm almost in tears, literally in tears. Marian, you are so amazing.
I love you so much.
I love
That
you
was
more.
just so incredible. Thank you so much.
For talking us through
Thank
big
you.
topics about love and how to find love, maintain love, and be in love with ourselves. Until next time, gosh, just keep on loving, right?
And next time we're going to do,
A podcast on astrology.
Yes, let's do it.
and we're going to do your chart.
And we're gonna look at your 8th house and we're gonna see what
Planets are in your 8th house.
Can't wait. Very soon we'll be doing that.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.